The cantina on Station Proxima buzzed with the usual mix of species: Zelthari merchants with their crystalline exoskeletons, hulking Braxan enforcers, and sleek Vorthak traders. But in the dimly lit corner booth, tension crackled like electricity between storm clouds. Neha pressed her palm against her swollen cheek, her dark eyes never leaving the three Braxan thugs who surrounded their table. At nearly 8 feet tall with arms thick as tree trunks, they represented everything the galaxy feared about their warrior species. Their leader, Gorthak, had already backhanded her once when she'd refused to hand over their cargo manifest. "Don't hit me again," Neha said quietly, her voice steady despite the pain radiating through her jaw. The Braxan erupted into rumbling laughter that shook the nearby tables. Other patrons turned to stare, some already reaching for their communication devices to record what they assumed would be another human's humiliation. "Did the little human just threaten us?" Gorthak wheezed between laughs, his massive fist clenching and unclenching. "You mammals are truly the most amusing creatures in the sector." Adnan sat perfectly still beside Neha, his hands flat on the table. To anyone watching, he appeared calm, just another human freight runner trying not to provoke the galactic bullies. But Neha could see the subtle tension in his shoulders, the way his breathing had shifted to the controlled rhythm she recognized from their years together. "Please," Adnan said, his voice carrying that deceptively mild tone that always preceded violence. "We're just trying to enjoy our drinks. Surely 3 warriors of your caliber have better things to do than harass freight runners?" "Freight runners carrying military-grade quantum processors," the second Braxan Vex growled. "Processors that would fetch a very nice price on the black market." Neha felt Adnan's knee brush against hers under the table, their old signal. She shifted slightly, her hand moving toward the neural disruptor hidden in her jacket's inner pocket. "Those processors are destined for the Human Medical Research Facility on Kepler 442b, she said, still maintaining eye contact with Gorthak. "Children's lives depend on that equipment." "How touching," Gorthak sneered, raising his hand again. "Perhaps another reminder will help you remember your place in the galactic hierarchy." The blow never landed. Adnan moved like liquid lightning, his chair clattering backward as he caught Gorthak's massive wrist. The human's fingers found the pressure point he'd memorized from xenobiology texts, and the Braxan's arm went suddenly, shockingly numb. But Adnan wasn't done. He pivoted, using Gorthak's own momentum to slam the giant's face into the metal table with a sound like a gong. Before the other two could react, Neha had her disruptor out and set to wide beam, sending both Braxans convulsing to the floor. The cantina fell silent except for Gorthak's pained groans. "You see," Adnan said conversationally, not even breathing hard, "that's the thing about humans that the rest of the galaxy never quite grasps." He stepped over Vex's twitching form and crouched beside Gorthak. "We're not the strongest or the fastest, or the most technologically advanced species out here." Neha stood, her disruptor still trained on the remaining conscious Braxan, as other patrons began to whisper in amazement. A few were definitely recording now. "But we're persistent," she continued, her voice carrying clearly through the hushed cantina. "And we remember everything. Every weakness, every pressure point, every tactical mistake our enemies make." Gorthak struggled to sit up, his eyes showing the first glimmers of something humans rarely saw from other species: respect tinged with fear. "More importantly," Adnan said, hauling the massive alien to his feet with surprising ease, "we don't fight fair. Your people worship strength and honor in combat. Noble traits. But humans?" He smiled, and it wasn't entirely pleasant. "We fight to win. Every single time." "The Terran Coalition will hear of this," Gorthak managed, though his usual bluster had diminished considerably. "Oh, I hope so," Neha replied, finally holstering her weapon. "Tell them that 2 human freight runners carrying medical supplies for dying children were attacked by 3 Braxan warriors. Tell them how that turned out for you." She paused, then added with deadly calm, "And tell them that if anyone else tries to steal medicine from human children, the response won't be nearly as gentle as what happened here today." The 2 remaining Braxans helped their leader stumble toward the exit, their retreat watched by dozens of fascinated aliens. Conversations erupted immediately in 17 different languages, but the message was clear. The humans had just announced that they weren't the prey species everyone assumed them to be. As Adnan settled their bill, he noticed a young Zelthari approach their table hesitantly. "Excuse me," the crystalline being said in heavily accented standard, "but I witnessed what happened. Those Braxons have been terrorizing freight runners for months. The station security does nothing because they fear their species' reputation." "And now?" Neha asked gently. The Zelthari's faceted eyes glittered with something like admiration. "Now I think they will fear something else entirely. Word of this will spread through the trade routes within hours. The Braxon clans will not be pleased to learn that their warriors were bested by, no offense intended, but by such a seemingly peaceful species." Adnan chuckled as he shouldered their supply pack. "None taken. But for future reference, humans are only peaceful when it suits our purposes. We prefer cooperation and diplomacy because they're more efficient than violence. But when someone threatens our own, especially our children—" He let the sentence hang in the air, its implications clear. As they walked toward the station's docking bay where their freighter waited, Neha rubbed her still sore cheek. "Think they got the message?" "Oh, they got it," Adnan replied, watching as various alien species moved out of their path with newfound wariness. "Question is, will the rest of the galaxy?" 20 minutes later, as their ship broke orbit carrying its precious cargo of medical equipment, emergency broadcasts were already spreading through the sector's communication networks. The story would grow in the telling, as stories do, but the core truth would remain unchanged. Humanity had finally shown its teeth, and the galaxy would never look at them the same way again.